Here's our recipe for a great vanilla sponge. This is a versatile cake that can be used in lots of different ways and it's very easy to make, so give it a go. First of all, the ingredients. We've got sugar, butter, sea salt, eggs, vanilla and self-raising flour. Combine the sugar and butter together using a whisk. And it's important that the butter is soft so it makes it easy to combine with the sugar. You can see here the butter I'm using is a little bit too hard. So we've also added in a pinch of sea salt which helps bring the flavour out. Once the mix is well combined, we can add the vanilla paste and the eggs. It's important with the eggs that you add them one at a time and make sure they're well mixed. Give the mix a real good going over with the mixer and get everything in there, otherwise the mix will start to split. If it does start to split for any reason, just put a spoonful of flour in and that'll help bring it back together again. So each egg gets whisked in until the mix is smooth, and eventually you'll be left with a really nice, loose, smooth mix. A bit like this. So once you've given the mix a good working over, you need to get yourself a spatula so that you can give the sides of the bowls a good wipe down. Make sure you've got everything well combined. Get into the bottom of the bowl as well to make sure there's no ingredients lurking in the bottom that haven't been pulled together. Make sure that mix is nice and loose, make sure it's not split. Now you can add the flour. We're using self-raising flour, but you can use plain flour and add a teaspoon of baking powder. It has the same effect. Mix the flour in. I prefer to fold the flour in by hand. You can whisk it in, just be careful not to over whisk it as you'll get a denser cake. But you can see it's well combined. And then we're going to put it into a lined tin. We're putting it into a 26cm cake tin here, which has been lined. But you could put it into two 20cm cake tins or even a loaf tin if you wanted to do something like a lemon drizzle. And it does make an excellent lemon drizzle. So once the mix is in, spread it out, give it a little knock to get some of the air out of it, and then we can put it into the oven. Now I bake it for about 30 minutes at 180 degrees C. It will depend on your oven whether it's fan assisted or not, even if it's an Arga or gas. Get to know your oven, and then once it's done, take it out of the oven and let it cool. You'll know when it's done. You can put a skewer in and bring it out clean. So that's a handy little tip to know whether that cake's ready. The darker it is, the more you need to turn your oven down for future batches. And you're just aiming for that golden brown. Now we're going to cut this one in half, and we're using this plate here to help guide the tip of the knife and make sure we've got it nice and level. And then we're just going to spread it round, slowly cutting round as we go. Obviously if you're using two sandwich tins you don't need to do this, it's already effectively done for you, and if you're doing a loaf cake then obviously you don't need to do this. So just cut it round nice and evenly and try and get as level a cut as you can. Watch your fingers, and then you can take the top half off and you see you've got two nice halves of cake ready for dressing. And the beauty of this cake is you can dress it with pretty much anything. There's lots of different options you can go for. We've done blueberry and lemon jam, we've done strawberry and cream, we've done peanut butter and jam, apple and custard. There's lots and lots of different options. You're only restricted by your imagination, so put your favourite fillings in and really go to town. What we're going to do with this one is a strawberry Eton mess cake. So we've got some fantastic strawberry jam here, and we're just piling that on. If you want to warm the jam up a little bit, makes it a little easier to spread, you can do, but it's not really essential. And I'm just putting a layer on here so that there's a good base layer of jam on, and then we're going to look at putting some strawberries on. Now these strawberries have been marinated overnight in aged balsamic vinegar, and that really brings the flavour out and really makes the strawberries sing, which is important, especially at times of the year like this when there's not a lot of flavour in the strawberries. So this is really just adding in a little extra zing. Place the strawberries around the edge. I like to work from the outside in, so create that kind of outside ring of strawberries so you've got something at the edge, and make sure you fill in all the gaps. As you move along and you start filling in the centre, you can just start kind of putting them on in a bit more bulk and spread them out a bit. Just make sure all those little gaps are filled in before you start doing that. These strawberries really do work well with balsamic, and also with a pinch of freshly ground black pepper, which we'll add in a little bit. You can do a strawberry dessert with strawberries and balsamic vinegar, a little bit of fresh grated parmesan and some mint, a bit of grated black pepper. It's a really beautiful combination. Sounds a little weird, but it is really good. So just adding in a pinch of ground black pepper to help the strawberry flavour, bring it out. Black pepper and red dark fruits is a really good combination, so it's worth bearing in mind. And then we're going to get the rest of the jam and just kind of top it up and fill in any gaps and just make sure it's really oozing with strawberry goodness, so that when that cake comes out you've got a really loaded cake base in there. Now the other thing that we're going to add into here is some whipped cream. We've added a little bit of vanilla into the cream. If you want, you don't have to have cream. You might want to be cutting back a bit after so many days in isolation. But we've put it in a whipped cream here. We haven't added any sugar into the cream, which you can also do as a chantilly cream. But I think with the strawberries, it's sweet enough as it is. So whipped cream on, spread it around. You can spread it onto the main base, or you can spread it onto the other half of the cake and sandwich them together. Entirely up to you. Make sure you get all the cream out there. Scrape everything off. Give that spoon a good shake, and make sure you're getting good value for money in everything that you do. So spread that cake round, and then you can join those together, and you've got a great cake. Again, we're going a little bit further here. We're making an eat and mess cake. So once we've sandwiched the cake on top, we're going to add in some sugar, and then we're going to add in some meringue on top. So you can see why I didn't want to put any sugar in the cream, because it really is a lot of sugar in there already. This just dresses it, makes it look nice, gives you that kind of almost traditional Victoria sponge look. We're just using a little sieve. I'm using a tea strainer here. Just coat the top of the cake in sugar, using icing sugar, and you get a really nice finish. And then these are some meringues. I whipped these up with some egg whites that were left over from some custard that I made for an apple and vanilla custard cake that I did the other day. So having the egg whites left over, I thought I'd make some meringue, and then it seemed sensible to add those into cake as well, because, well, why wouldn't you? So this makes a great tea time treat for a special occasion, and the cake also, you can simplify it down for kind of any time of the week cake. Just a little bit of jam in there, and it's really good. So here it is, the strawberry eat and mess cake. So that's the vanilla sponge, and here's a recap of the ingredients for you. 230 grams of caster sugar, 230 grams of unsalted butter, 230 grams of self-raising flour, a pinch of sea salt, 4 medium-sized eggs, which should roughly weigh 230 grams in the shell, and then some vanilla paste. Enjoy!